WNDS Sports presents Candlepin Stars and Strikes, featuring the best candlepin bowlers from all over New England. And now, in our 17th season, here's your hosts for Candlepin Stars and Strikes, Dick Lutz and Mike Morin.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome in to another edition of Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutz with Mike Morin. It is week 3 of our 4th ladder series of the season as we climb the ladder to our semifinal round. An impressive debut performance last week from 19-year-old Jeremy Seaholm.
He was simply amazing. The lights didn't seem to bother him. He was bowling one of the great names in the game, Rich Clark. Still managing to average almost 137 for 3 games. Another tough customer today in Shawn McKinley.
Let's meet our bowlers for this afternoon's semifinal match. First, last week's winner in his initial performance on Candlepin Stars and Strikes, 19-year-old Jeremy Seaholm from Brookfield, Massachusetts.
All you can say is, wow, Dick. 414 for his opening 3-set string right here at Stars and Strikes. Average of 118. High single 177. Jeremy has a high triple of 456 and bowls at Fairway Sports World in Natick and the Needham Bowlerway.
And he'll be meeting a young man who is no stranger to the lights of Candlepin bowling from Hudson, New Hampshire, Shawn McKinley.
Yep, Shawn is back. He was here a couple months ago, lost with a 414 triple to Mike Poulin, hoping to do better today. Averaging 129, his high single 197, high triple is 472. Shawn does his bowling at Park Place in Windham, New Hampshire.
And each of our bowlers will be looking to take on top seed Jeff Bugia next week. Let's get right to it. It is Jeremy Seaholm taking on Shawn McKinley when we come back to Leda Lanes for Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. We'll be back right after this.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is brought to you by the Thompson family of dealerships in Nashua, New Hampshire.
All right, we started with 5. We're down to 3, and Jeremy Seaholm and Shawn McKinley will meet this afternoon with Jeff Bugia waiting in the wings as the #1 seed. It'll be Jeremy Seaholm, first to bowl here this afternoon at Leda Lanes, and a great crowd on hand to watch this semifinal match, with the winner hoping to again advance to next week's championship match, and the winner of that match moving on to our Tournament of Champions at the end of the year.
Speaking of the Tournament of Champions, I spotted in the audience today Gary Carrington, who is the top seed at 414
at the moment, with Gary Santora #2 and Mike Morgan #3.
3 very strong entries, and we'll find out who the 4th bowler is next week.
Jeremy will start out with an 8 box. An impressive debut performance last week for this youngster from Brookfield, Massachusetts, formerly from Framingham, which is where he does most of his bowling and still works at Fairway Sports World.
I'm kind of curious what the record is for the best debuting triple ever. That may be it.
412 to beat a 394 put on the board by Rich Clark, and there's a spare for Jeremy Seaholm in the 2nd box. This makes 31-year-old Shawn McKinley look like an old man.
Jeremy makes everybody look like an old man. Does he look over 12 or 13 to you? Now I can say that because at his age I look like I was 12 or 13.
Now Shawn, who bowls out of Park Place in Windham. He's been bowling 12 years as a professional. He'll miss the spare in the 1st box. He is engaged to pro bowler Glennis Hickey, and their kids are Kyle and Amanda. And he also has a brother Brian, who is a pro bowler as well.
And is here today.
And that'll be a 6 box to start out for Shawn McKinley. Last time on Candlepin Stars and Strikes as a #5 seed, he lost to Mike Poulin. Michael mentioned earlier the 414 triple was a losing score to a 430 bowled by Poulin. Tough to bowl a 414 and lose by 26 pins or 16 pins. And Shawn's a former New Hampshire State All Events champion. And there's a nice spare.
Very nice. Always tough to get that pin in the back row.
And Shawn was a member of the Leda Lanes World Team back in 1997. Now Jeremy working on a spare. He will put 4 in the spare. Filling in the spares becomes so important. There's another spare. 2 marks in a row for Jeremy Seaholm, and that was not an easy one.
I'll say it again this week as I did last week. He has a very nice touch out there. His accuracy is so good. He's got a good instinct about where to play the spares.
We have $950 in our triple strike jackpot as we begin play today. $140 in the cash bonus ball jackpot.
Been way too long since we've had either of those jackpots won.
And Jeremy will not make the spare there, so no bonus money for him.
Runner-up takes home $300. The winner plays Jeff Bugia next week.
$9. Shawn has a high single of 197, a high triple of 472, and he's rolling right now what he told me is a 125 average. That's right on the head pin, and there's a strike. 2 marks in a row for Shawn. That was right on the head pin.
2 marks, hoping for bonus money right here. $50 frame.
Right on the head pin, a little thin. Thought he deserved better.
Well, it looked like it was right there. I think the ball just faded right at the very end.
What a leave that is. That's a very unusual leave.
4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Ugly.
And there goes the 5 pin. That is a very unusual set of 5 pins to leave standing. He finishes with a 7 box.
So the bowlers just 1 pin apart after 4 frames, each with 2 marks.
Here's a strike for Jeremy. 3 marks in the first 5 frames for Jeremy Seaholm.
There he is, folks. That's a product of the junior bowling leagues at the Fairway Sports World in Natick. Get your kids involved with the Saturday morning bowling leagues. Almost every bowling center has them, with coaches on hand to help guide them along, teach them the game. And a handful of them do succeed to the level that Jeremy has.
Almost picked up the spare. He puts 9 in the strike.
And you'd have to say, Dick, for somebody being so new to these fans here, he really won them over last week.
What's not to love with the way he bowled?
And just a very, very nice, unassuming demeanor.
How did he describe the feeling of being on? He said it was
a rush.
A rush, that's what he said. And now Shawn. Want to acknowledge Chet and Carol in Chelsea. Let them know that we did get the information that was passed on to us last time. And there's a spare for Shawn.
So the 2 guys are matching each other almost literally box for box.
That's right on the head pin. The 5 pin still stands. Wood on the left is not angled right for him at the moment. He wants to try it. No, he might have no choice. He's got a shot at it.
He does.
To the right. He went to the wood and he took it. He went far to the left of the wood. That was the only way to make it with the wood, was to go away to the left. Now Jeremy. Both bowlers red hot, but nobody able to cash any bonus money just yet. Jeremy tries to break up the spare, the split rather. Can't do it. There's some wood behind the 2 pin that's not going to really help him out a lot, I don't think. Unless it comes off the wall like that, and it might, but it didn't. That'll be a 10 box for Jeremy. He's pretty good at picking pins too.
Yeah, he really is. He's got great accuracy, a real good eye. Watch this gentleman over the next few years. You'll see him a lot. He's a rookie on the WCBC this year.
And there they go for a strike. Second strike of the match. It was the 5 and the 9, I think, that were the last to go. Perhaps we'll get another shot, and they went in tandem. Yeah, it's the 5 and the 9,
Look
and
at that.
there they go.
3 pins to take down 2.
That one got away from Shawn, but he made out pretty well with 7 in the spare and a pretty good setup for another one.
Just has to push that one piece of dead wood behind the 1 pin straight back.
Look at that.
Looked good on paper,
Sure
didn't it?
didn't it? Looked like it was an unmissable shot.
And
we're going to remove a ball
right.
from the channel.
Shawn asks Paul Ouellette, who's our in-house scorekeeper, to remove the ball for him. The ball is already halfway back to the foul line.
And Paul gets a hand from the crowd.
People yelling Ralph in reference to Ralph Stewart, who used to be the lob line judge and a pin and ball remover on the old Channel 5 show. The man with the Argyle socks. Sure the old-timers will remember that.
There's a good pocket shot for Shawn, and he leaves the 10 pin. Don't know how it's still standing, but it still is.
And it's not very friendly wood in front either.
Got to hit the left side of the wood and just hope it stays over to the right.
You don't want to cap it, though, I don't think.
That's a good shot by Shawn. Both bowlers bowling extremely well. 5 marks in the string for Shawn. 4 marks in the string for Jeremy. Jeremy working on a strike on lane 34. That one's not going to get there, but he still has another ball.
One of the very, very few errant shots that he's made over the last couple of weeks.
And he'll end up, is that pin going down? Yes, it is. He ends up with 9 in the strike.
Look at that.
And a 10 box. He didn't have much of an angle, but he could put that ball right through the opening that was there.
But his accuracy is so good that he was able to do that.
He's at 115 through 9. Half Worcester. He has been the mark of consistency. Last week against Rich Clark, he had a 140 in the first string, a 136 in the second string, and a 136 in the third string. And he's going to be around 125 in this string. Not too shabby.
Well, all the games have been over his 118 average, Dick, so he's excelling nicely under the lights.
That one he threw away. Finishes with an 8 box and a 123 first string for Jeremy Seaholm. Now Shawn McKinley.
Chance to pile on some extra pins against the youngster from Brookfield, Mass.
Off the head pin, 4 horsemen right side. He puts 6 in the spare. Now when he missed the head pin. Another terrific crowd on hand at Leda Lanes, as you will see. You get a good shot of them now as you look over Shawn McKinley's shoulder. And that'll be a 9 box for Shawn. He's at 120 with a box to go. A 5-pin lead, box to box. And he's up against an open frame by Jeremy Seaholm in the 10th frame.
I want to mention that our next taping, if you're watching this on Sunday, the 4th of February, we will be taping again this Tuesday, the 6th. Tuesday the 6th, we start at 10 o'clock in the morning, go till about 4. We do 4 shows, a whole month's worth of programs in one day. And it's very hospitable here. We've got extra bleachers set up, TV monitors for those that don't sit directly behind the bowlers. Coffee and donuts when you get here. Ray Simino and Sean Howard doing a great job to make you feel welcome this Tuesday at 10 o'clock. That's February 6th.
Nine box, 129 first string for Shawn McKinley. A 6-pin lead over Jeremy Seaholm as we go to the middle string of this semifinal match in this ladder series number 4. We continue from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire on WNDS TV's Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Shawn McKinley ready to bowl on lane 34 at Leda Lanes. They're on a head pin and a 9-pin drop and a 10-pin drop. A strike to start out the second string for Shawn McKinley. Shawn is very active at the line after he releases the ball.
A lot of nervous energy, huh? Well, this one took a while to go down, too.
Just got nudged.
Yep.
There it goes.
Little up tap.
Well, he was a little bit thin on the head pin that time, and he leaves the 5, the 7, and the 10 with wood spread all over the place. And Shawn sizing up the situation. Working on a strike.
What to do with it?
Left of the front wood. You got the wood in the corner that's frozen to the 7 pin. No, he went the other way. He took it. Nice shot.
On a strike, no less. And a 20 first frame score and another loose ball on lane 33. So we'll take just a quick moment and let Paul Ouellette run down and grab it.
Well, you saw Shawn open up with a double mark. He'll be shooting at bonus money next time he steps to the line. And Jeremy with a half Worcester.
That's his 3rd consecutive first ball in each frame where he's not come up to the head pin, and he's been way to the right-hand side.
And that one misses the head pin to the left, so he still has a mess. And he'll have to settle for a 7 box.
Yeah, needs to start pounding the head pin once again. When he does, he's devastating.
That's right on the head pin, leaving the 9 pin. And the spare for Jeremy Seaholm. Now Shawn's looking for some bonus money. On the head pin, left a tough shot. The 5, the 6, the 9, and the 10. Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV is a presentation of the Thompson family of dealerships, McMulkin Chevrolet, Nashua Hyundai, Nashua Mitsubishi, and Nashua Daewoo, all located in the New England Automotive Village on the Daniel Webster Highway in Nashua, New Hampshire.
When we come back from the break, I'd like to acknowledge some mail we got, Dick, from Brattleboro, Vermont, and a very interesting story about a most unusual score in 10 pin that occurred many years ago. Talk about that in just a few moments.
Speaking of that, and not related to the story in particular, but there was a story not that long ago, a couple of weeks ago, about this fellow who rolled 3 consecutive 300 games in 10 pin.
It has happened. A handful of people have done it, and a few of them have been disallowed. The American Bowling Congress has to sanction the bowling lanes right after that happens. They have a certain amount of hours to get that done. And on a few occasions, because of lane dressing or other improper use of equipment, they've been disallowed, discredited, not sanctioned. So it's happened a handful of times.
Jeremy puts a 7 in his spare. And does not pick up the next spare.
He doesn't miss too many makeable spares. Whoever taught him to bowl certainly pointed out the importance of pinning, because he does that extremely well.
Very tight match right now as we near the halfway point. That one was off the head pin, but look at that. He has a great opportunity here with the 1 and the 3 still standing. And the 1 still stands. $10, and we go to the break. A 16-pin lead in the match for Shawn McKinley over Jeremy Seaholm as we go to break. We come back in a moment on Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire on WNDS TV. Shawn McKinley ready to go. As we come back to action on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Dick Lutz with Mike Moran. Happy to have you with us for our weekly get-together. Look at that for a strike for Shawn McKinley. Third mark of the string. Second strike of the string. Third strike of the match. Lots of marks by both bowlers, but no bonus money yet. Right in the pocket.
He's as surprised as we all are that he didn't get a better shake on it than that. It's the 5-7 split. Wood is off to the right. Not a factor.
Well, it could be. If it takes one more roll over, then you can play the ball off the wood.
Now suddenly it's in play. Well, nah, boy, I tell you, I think you go right for the 5-pin.
Ooh, he gave it a shot.
He split the difference. 2 inches either way, he'd have made it probably.
He'll take the 5-pin for a $9.
Got some interesting mail, Dick, from Mrs. Edith Ives of Brattleboro, Vermont. From some publication she found dated May 11th, 1956, from the American Optical booklet called The Reflector. I guess it's some kind of an in-house employee newsletter or something. And a little something about bowling. Records show that at least one man confounded the experts and bowled 299.5 out of a possible 300. Now, of course,
how do you bowl a half?
Well, I'll explain here. We're talking 10 pins, of course.
Jeremy with a spare.
With the last ball he rolled, in other words, he had the first 11 strikes in a row. One more to go. With the last ball he rolled, all pins were knocked down, but as they fell, one pin split in half along its length. One of the halves bounced back up onto the alley and landed upright, and it will probably never happen again.
Wow.
So I don't know how you score that, but they listed here as 299.5. Thank you very much, Edith Ives. Great story from Brattleboro. We appreciate you watching and taking time to send us that interesting story.
And that'll be an 8-box for Jeremy Seaholm.
One of my favorite episodes of Andy Mayberry is when Howard Sprague was on his bowling league and he had the first 11 strikes in a row and the power went out for the night. So he had to come back the next day after thinking about it for 24 hours and roll that 12th and final ball.
You throw it in the gutter? Or?
I think he got it, as I recall. But the drama was just very, very strong for that day that he had to live with Mayberry and talking to everybody and everybody psyching him out.
Look at that shot by Shawn McKinley. Great shot by Shawn. Did it without the help of any deadwood. The 3, the 6, the 7, and the 10. Great shot by Shawn. 4th mark of the string. He'll put 8 in the spare.
Yeah, Shawn is thinking, I'm not going to bowl 414 and go home again like last time. When he lost to Mike Poulin.
Now the spare for Shawn. He's got 2 in a row. 5 marks in the string.
Slowly pulling away from Jeremy Seaholm, who had 414 against Rich Clark last week. 412, excuse me.
And he bounces right back. We saw Rich Clark roll a 168 in the second string, only to have Jeremy roll a very strong 136 and stay 2 pins ahead in the match. Now Jeremy misses the spare. Those are shots he was not missing last week.
Exactly.
And it'd be a 10-box.
Hey, this match is far from over. High string today. Whoever bowls that, an extra $50 in bonus money, compliments of Lita Lanes.
The 1, the 6, the 9, and the 10 still standing with some wood that's in pretty good position to help him out. There it goes. Nice shot by Jeremy. Both bowlers with marks in the 8th frame. Now it's Shawn McKinley going after some bonus money. head pin. That piece of wood fell between the 6 and the 10. Puts 8 in the spare. The wood rolls in the way. Now straightens out a little bit, and that looks to be in pretty good shape for him.
There's a bit of a drop-off from the wooden part of the lane to the metal plate at the end, and that's why you saw it kind of angle around when it hit the lip of the lane.
He threw it past the wood.
My.
That cost him $50.
Not to mention a mark, possibly. That's what he wanted to do.
He's at 127 through 9. Really missed a golden opportunity for a mark. That was set up well for him.
And gives Jeremy Seaholm a little bit more life here.
That's off the head pin. His ball tails off a little bit from left to right.
His whole body trajectory goes from left to right. Shoulder dips down to the right. But it works for him.
Nice 10 box for Shawn McKinley. Used to be a bowler from Western Massachusetts. I remember on the old Channel 5 show named Dick Chafee, who used to have a left to right hook in his ball off the right hand, a fade,
backup
if you
ball.
will, a backup ball. And Jeremy working on a spare, puts 4 in the mark. Goes to the right side.
And that is the way to shoot that, is people think it's not.
Get the pin in the back.
Right.
You try to kick forward.
Exactly.
And that'll be an 8 box. He's at 98. He needs a mark to get it down to around 30. Going into the last string. And he punches through again. Same thing on the reverse side. 3 on the left, 4 on the right. Only that time he played it on the right side. On the strong side, if you will.
Waiting for the balls to get back. Now
The 3 on the left are the 2, 4, and 7. The 2 on the right are the 6 and the 10. He is at 103 right now. And it'll be a 106 for second string for Jeremy Seaholm. As we go to the third string, it is a 37-pin lead in the match for Shawn McKinley over Jeremy Seaholm. We continue from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. It's Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Jeremy Seaholm will be first to bowl in our final string, the semifinal match of our 4th ladder series. Half Worcester. Jeremy's been off target for much of this match, especially since the first string.
Would we call this the sophomore jinx? Last week is freshman or debut week.
Yeah, you know what you might call it? You might call it getting tired.
At his age, at 19?
Yeah. 7 box.
Well, it is a long day for the bowlers that start at a lower seed position, that's for sure.
Right on the head pin there, kicking him out and leaving himself a spare opportunity with some wood angled in a way that will help him if it stays there, but the wood backs away.
Still pretty much needs to play the wood, though.
And he's got the spare. No, he doesn't. Ooh, look at that. The 10 pin is still standing. I spoke too soon. I didn't think there was a way for him to miss it if he hit the wood. And that'll be a 9 box for Jeremy. Thought for sure he had that spare. I had it down in my scorecard.
Our runner-up today has a $300 prize waiting for them. Our winner goes on to play Jeff Bagia next week.
Shawn McKinley with a head pin shot, a pocket shot, leaving the 7 pin. Wood way out in front. He has to play the wood, I think. Maybe not. Maybe he's got room.
He does have a straight shot.
Not from the angle he comes at it.
Well, it's the lesser of two evils. Do you shoot for the piece of deadwood and have it go straight back, or do you go to the left and possibly put it in the gutter like that?
And that'll be a 9-box.
So he picks up another 2 pins on Jeremy Seaholm in the first frame.
And both bowlers missed makeable spares. Shawn on the head pin again, another spare lead. This is the 5 and the 9 with no wood to get in the way. You see Shawn McKinley, a high single of 197, and a spare in the second frame for Shawn. He adds to his lead. He leads by 40 plus a ball with 8 boxes remaining. And now the pressure goes to Jeremy Seaholm, who must start putting some marks together. He missed the head pin, but he leaves himself a makeable shot. Not easy, but makeable. The 1, the 2, the 7, and the 8 with some wood on the deck. The 8 pin still stands. Nine box. Open through the first 3.
I'd like to invite everybody to the 8th annual Rock and Bowl, Sunday, February 25th. At Pilgrim Lanes from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. All your favorite professional bowlers will be there, and it's a fundraiser for the hundreds of kids from Pilgrim Lanes in the junior program under Tony Marie Baldinelli and her help, her assistance. Going to take the kids to Canada in March for a big international tournament. It's a great event every year, but it takes a lot of money to make it happen. And we invite you to be a part of it. Dick Lutzke and I will be there hosting, and we'll bowl a 1-string grudge match.
Is it just going to be 1
last
string?
year. Well, we don't want to subject the people on hand to watch us for an hour when they could be watching Tom and Mike Morgan.
I wanted to thoroughly trounce you for 3 strings. That'll be a 10 box for Jeremy. It's the first time he's gone open 4 boxes in a row. Actually, looking back on the first 2 strings, the most he'd gone open was 2 in a row. If I go back to last week, he didn't have very many open boxes last week.
Yeah, when you bowl 4-12, you don't leave too many. Friendly wood up front. He missed it by a mile.
He had one stretch where he had 3 opens in the second string. Jeremy did last week, and that was it. Here's another 10 box for Shawn.
Well, Shawn's had a couple of careless spare shots, but so far he maintains about a 4-mark lead over Jeremy.
Yeah, he's pretty comfortably ahead.
Yep. And Jeremy shows no signs of coming to life. At least he hasn't this game, with only 35 through 4.
Tough shot here for Shawn. See how he plays the wood. He played the wood, but didn't take any pins with it.
You need to be just a little bit more to the right to get the 3-pin.
That's going to be a 6 box for Shawn. So we go to the break, and Shawn McKinley has a 45-pin lead over Jeremy Seaholm with 6 boxes remaining. Heading down the home stretch. Don't go away. We continue in a moment with Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire on WNDS TV. Jeremy Seaholm ready to go. He needs to put some marks together to climb back into it. Shawn McKinley has a comfortable 45-pin lead with 6 frames remaining.
But he's also giving Jeremy every opportunity to get back into this match.
And Jeremy looks up to the sky in disbelief. Spread eagle plus the 8 and the 9.
Wondering how things could have gone so wrong after a nearly perfect week last week.
Got a letter from Richard Clow of Marblehead, Massachusetts, who says we hadn't heard from any pin boys recently. We had a streak where we were hearing from pin boys weekly.
Yeah, they all came out of the woodwork, if you pardon the expression.
Says the Marblehead YMCA had either 2 or 4 bowling alleys in the late 30s and early 40s, and I was a pin boy. The cost of a string to a bowler was $1. That seems kind of high.
Boy, that does.
The Y kept 60 cents, and the pin boy got 40 cents.
Wow. That was good money for back in the
Imagine if you
Depression.
set up 10 strings, you got $4. Later, a commercial alley was opened in Marblehead called Maple Lanes. It closed for lack of business in the early 70s. And while working for the Y, he developed a chronic sprained ankle from jumping in and out of the pit so often, and that ended his career. One never knew when bowling what kind of condition the pins would be in. They were made of oak, and the bottoms would become rounded from constant use, so they wouldn't stand up. To cure that, they had a manual shaving machine to flatten out either end of the pin. It would be done a number of times. Unless you went to bowl, you might be looking at 10 pins of many varying heights. That's an interesting letter. Mr. Richard Clough from Marblehead, Massachusetts. Thank you very much for writing in.
Not a problem with the plastic pins, although the plastic pins are also reconditioned every few years. Various bowling centers might do it more often than others to flatten them out just a little bit, make them stand more true. Wow, we've seen that many times today from Shawn McKinley, missing the 610 with wood in front, and he's hearing it from the crowd, Dick.
Another 10 box.
He's a lucky man that Jeremy is.
Shawn is saying to himself, thank God I have this lead.
Yeah, I'm the luckiest man alive today because I shouldn't be winning this game.
Shawn on the head pin that time, again, leaving another makeable spare. This is the 3, the 5, and the 6. This one he's going to make.
And mock applause.
So Shawn will add to his lead, his second mark of the string. Jeremy has gone without a mark through 6 boxes of the 3rd string. And he's lost the range. He had the range, and he's lost it completely.
Had it for a while in the 1st string, and then it left him.
That's a good shot right there, as he makes us eat our words a little bit by making a great shot for a spare.
That was beautiful. Right between the 1 and the 3.
He needs to run the table here off the head pin, just putting 3 in the spare. And he missed the head pin again.
Well, it appears he's finished for today, but we'll see Jeremy Seaholm again. We'll have 2 more ladders after this one is concluded, so more chances for him to qualify and get back on the show.
7 box. He's at 74 through 8. He's going to need a mark to break 100. Shawn McKinley comfortably in control, working on a spare. Off the head pin, putting 6 in the spare.
Crowd is riding him pretty hard.
He'll make this one. There's no wood. No, he threw it past the head pin. Shawn's taking a pretty good riding from his friends in the crowd, and they are his friends.
A lot of pro bowlers are here. Dave Richards is here. I don't know if Carrington is still around. Saw him after the lunch break.
76 through 7. Shawn right on the head pin that time, punched right through. The 2, the 4, and the 7 on the left side. You got the 8 and the 9 and the 10 in the back row. He'll take a pair.
Well, it's been feast or famine with bonus money the last 3 weeks. Nothing today, nothing 2 weeks ago, and a ton of it last week.
46-pin lead for Shawn McKinley with 2 boxes remaining. That time, Jeremy put it in the 1-3 pocket, and the 4 and the 7 are still standing. Another youngster waiting in the wings. Our top seed, Jeff Bugia, is just 19 years old. We will see him for the first time in the championship match next week.
He'll face Shawn McKinley, who is on the verge of winning this one after being denied a couple of months ago, losing to Mike Poulin 430 to 414. He won't need nearly that much to win today, though.
Jeremy, another good first ball.
He needs this for a 100 game. He needs to pick it up and then a 7-pin fill.
And he'll make the spare.
Only a 2nd mark this game.
Quite a contrast from his 412 of 1 week ago.
He'll win $300 for his efforts today against Shawn McKinley, who goes on hoping to win the $1,000 top prize next week.
That one's off the head pin. He'll be under 100 as he puts 5 in the spare. A 98 third string for Jeremy Seaholm, and a 3-string total of 327. Shawn McKinley already at 349 will advance. The only question that remains is, will he win any bonus money this afternoon? Four horsemen on the right side, piece of wood. Could figure in on a bounce. And the spare made by Shawn without the wood.
Redeeming himself with the crowd, who'd been razzing him for a number of easy spare leaves that he had missed this game.
Shawn gets the last laugh. He'll be here next week.
That is right.
There's a strike. No, we're still looking at the $950 in the triple strike jackpot. He's alive for that, if he can put 2 more together. That's on the head pin, a little bit thin. So the triple strike jackpot goes down the drain. A chance for $50 here, though, if he can convert this.
It's a 5-7-10. I think that's the second time he's had that today.
Nope, not going to make it. It'll be a 9 in the strike rather, and a total of 122 for Shawn McKinley. A 3-string total of 388. He wins 388 to 327. We will return to Leda Lanes in Nashua for our finale on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV right after this. Of 412 on his way to beating Rich Clark. And this week he's on the short end of a 388 to 327 score to Shawn McKinley.
How does it go bad so quickly? Last week, Jeremy described the feeling of being on television rolling 412 as a rush. I wonder what word he would use to describe today's. You'll have to ask him when he comes up.
Let's bring him up right now. Our runner-up here this afternoon, Jeremy Seaholm from Brookfield, Massachusetts. Last week you said it was a rush. What's the word you used this time?
Really want to know? No, I couldn't find my mark. I was trying too hard. I hit the head pin. I'd go right through it.
We talked earlier during the match about the fact that you did look like you lost the groove, the mark that you had the week before. What do you do to try to compensate?
I try to slow down. You have a bad box, just go right back. But just tried too hard. I couldn't get it back.
Well, you made a great presence in your first appearance on TV. We congratulate you. I have a check here for $300. You had $100 in bonus money last week. We hope to see you again soon. Jeremy Seaholm, our runner-up here this afternoon from Brookfield, Massachusetts, the 19-year-old youngster. We will see him back soon, I'm sure, on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Now, our winner, Shawn McKinley, will roll a bonus ball, and we'll try to match him up with a contestant from home in our bonus ball contest. Move over to the other lane, Shawn. There we go. A deuce. It's the deuce.
Yeah. It hasn't been the friendliest crowd today. This just makes it worse.
Let's reach in there. See if you can pull out. Can you pull out a deuce out of that thing?
I'm trying to see if I can feel one. All right, I think I got
what a deuce feels like.
I got a 2 right here.
All right, this is an incomplete card. We'll throw it back in the drum and check it again.
I guess it was one of Dick's relatives that sent that one in.
Try another one. This looks right. This is Jack McManus from Derry, New Hampshire. Jack picked 4, which is not a match. Consolation prize from N&R Trophies in Winchendon, Massachusetts for Jack McManus of Derry, New Hampshire. We bring Shawn McKinley in there this afternoon. Our winner, 388 to 327, $50 in bonus money for having the high string in the match, and a 388. Last time you were on, you hit a 414 and lost, so a 388 is pretty good winning score.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I missed a few ducks there, but I'll take it.
It's kind of a nasty crowd there getting on you for missing some spares.
Yeah, they're not easy out there, so.
What were you thinking when you were here? And you knew you had a big lead, so that takes a little bit of the pressure off, but they were having a little fun with you, I think, toward the end.
Yeah, I just didn't want any shots with wood.
And you made a couple of spares without wood at the end.
Right.
And they knew that that's what it was taking. They were just trying to kind of egg you on, I guess.
I think so, yeah.
Well, Shawn, congratulations to you. We'll see you next week as you meet Jeff Bougie in the championship match. Shawn McKinley, our winner here this afternoon, and we climb the ladder.
Yeah, Jeff Bugia from Drake at Mass is going to be here next week. Believe it or not, he's even younger than Jeremy Seaholm is. He's 18 years old, so it could be rookie fire again next week for Shawn McKinley.
And before we go, we want to remind you of a fundraising event coming up at Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill.
This is going to be coming up on Sunday the 25th at Pilgrim Lanes. It's the 8th annual Rock and Bowl, where a lot of the great bowlers you see every week here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes will get together for 4 hours starting at 9 in the morning until 1 o'clock. Lots of fun games. Everybody gets to bowl with the professionals, and all the money goes toward helping the kids raise enough money to go to Canada for their international Canadian and American bowling tournament that happens in March.
There's going to be a certain grudge match taking place. I'm going to show up. Are you?
Well, you beat me last year. I'll admit it to the whole world here, 98-94. This year, the cameras will be rolling, and we'll bring back footage to show some Sunday here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes when I beat you.
You're going to take a whooping once again. I can guarantee it.
Okay.
And that'll do it from
We'll
Leda
see.
Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire
Sure. You get
for
the
this
last word,
afternoon.
don't you?
Always do.
Yeah.
For Mike Morin and our entire WNDS TV crew, I'm Dick Lutz. We'll see you next time on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. So long, everyone, and let's go bowling.